Hey guys, welcome to this session on Docker versus virtual machine. Did you know the famous global researcher Gartner predicts by 2023 more than 50% of the companies will be adopting Docker containers? However, a serverless container like Docker will have a rise in the revenue from a small base of 465.8 million in the year 2020 to 944 million in the year 2024. In this video, we will be doing a side-by-side comparison of the Docker containers and the virtual machines. But before that, let's have a look at the objectives of this lesson. In this session, you will have a good understanding of what a virtual machine is and what a Docker is. Followed by that, we will have a major difference between Docker and the virtual machines. Also, we will discuss some of the key differences between Docker and virtual machines. And finally, a use case on what made BBC to use Docker. So the first one, what exactly is a virtual machine? It is an isolated computing environment that enables a person to use an operating system via a physical machine. Virtual machines provide the functionality of a physical computer. As you can see on my screen, there is a virtual machine, and this is how a typical virtual machine looks like. Now, let's look at what a Docker is. Docker is an operating system level virtualization software platform that enables software developers and IT administrators to create, deploy, and run applications in a Docker container with all their dependencies. And a Docker container is a lightweight software package that includes all the dependencies like frameworks, libraries, and many more, which are essentially required to execute an application. This is the architecture of Docker tool. Now let's move on to our next main topic for the discussion, that is Docker versus virtual machine. When it comes to comparing the two, we could say the Docker containers have much more potential than virtual machines. As you can see on the left and right hand side, both the images look similar. Now let's define the layers of virtual machine from the bottom up. Let's begin with the infrastructure. Infrastructure could be a computer system, a laptop, or a virtual private server such as an Amazon EC2 instance, or Azure Virtual Machine, or GCP Virtual Machine instance. On the top of the infrastructure runs the operating system. An operating system is a software that manages hardware and software resources for the computer programs. On your laptop, this will be likely Windows, Mac OS, or Linux flavored operating systems such as Ubuntu. Next comes the hypervisor. A hypervisor is a firmware that builds and runs virtual machines. There are two types of hypervisors. Type 1 hypervisors are HyperKit for Mac OS, Hyper-V for Windows, and KVM for Linux operating systems. And Type 2 hypervisors are VirtualBox and VMware. Then we have the guest operating systems. Consider an example where you want to run two apps on your server in total isolation. This process would require two guest operating systems which will be controlled by a hypervisor. Virtual machines come with many dependencies, where each guest operating system will at least occupy 512 MB of your RAM. This is worse because each guest operating system needs its own CPU and memory resources. Eventually, this will be expensive. Then, on top of that, each guest operating system requires its own dependencies such as binaries and libraries. Since every application has different dependencies, it requires its own set of libraries. Finally, it's the application. This layer consists of the source code for the application you have built. This was all about the virtual machine on a server. Here's what the same setup looks like when you're using Docker containers. Here, you'll notice that there are a lot fewer layers. Docker doesn't require a bunch of massive guest operating systems. Let me break it down from the bottom up again. Infrastructure and host operating systems are the same as we discussed for the virtual machine. Coming into the third layer, instead of a hypervisor, Docker uses Docker Engine. Docker Engine or Docker is a client-server application that builds and executes containers using Docker components. Next, we have our dependencies. Just like on the virtual machines, here dependencies are built into a template called Docker images. As you can see on the screen, each application is still isolated and occupies less space. Now, let's have a look at the significant differences between Docker and virtual machine. Let's start with the operating system first. Docker is a container-based model where containers are software packages used for executing an application on any operating system. On the other side, virtual machine is a container-based model. It utilizes user space along with the kernel space of the operating system. A kernel space is where the core of the operating system runs and provides its services to the user. A user cannot modify this space, and user space is the portion of the system memory in which the user's processes run. Docker containers share operating system kernels with other applications and result in a higher server efficiency. Hence, Docker provides the most substantial default isolation capabilities among the other configuration tools. On the other hand, virtual machines do not share the operating system. Also, it does not provide isolation in the host kernel. In Docker, multiple workloads can run on a single operating system, but in virtual machine, each workload needs a complete operating system or a hypervisor. The next significant difference between the two is the performance. In the case of Docker, they use the same operating system without any additional software like hypervisor. In case of virtual machines, performance issues are a major problem. It can be due to the several reasons like CPU constraints, memory allocation, network latency, and many more. Running multiple virtual machines lead to an unstable performance. Docker containers can start up quickly and result in less boot-up time, whereas virtual machines do not start quickly and lead to a poor performance. Now, let's talk about the next difference, which is portability. With Docker containers, a developer can build an application and store it into a Docker image. Later, he or she can run it across any host environment. But when it comes to virtual machines, it has portability issues. Virtual machines do not have a central hub like Docker does, and it requires more memory space to store data. Docker containers are smaller than virtual machines, due to which the process of transferring files on the host file system is easier. On the other hand, dependency on the host operating system and hardware makes virtual machines less portable. While transferring files, virtual machines should have a copy of the operating system and its dependencies, due to which image size is increased and becomes a tedious process to share data. The boot-up time between the both is very different. The application in Docker containers start without any delay since the operating system is already up and running. On the other hand, virtual machines take much longer time than it takes for a container to run applications. These containers were basically designed to save time in the deployment process of an application, whereas in virtual machines, to deploy a single application, virtual machine needs to start an entire operating system, which would result in a full boot process. So those were the major differences between Docker and a virtual machine. Now let's discuss the minor differences between them. Docker is not always in a running state. It stops when the stop command is executed, whereas the virtual machines are always running in the background, which will result in huge RAM consumption. Talking about snapshots. Docker has a lot of snapshots. A snapshot is an image that you can upload on a private repository to access it on another host. But virtual machines do not consist of any snapshots. In Docker, images can be version controlled just like Git. They have local registry called Docker Hub where users store and distribute container images. On the other hand, virtual machine does not have a central hub. They are not version controlled. Docker can run multiple containers on a system. Users can connect multiple containers using user-defined networks and shared volumes. Multiple containers can be accessed on the same machine and share the operating system kernel with other containers. Each container is isolated in user space. Also, Docker containers occupy less space than virtual machines and start instantly. Virtual machine can run only a limited number of virtual machines on a system. Since each virtual machine requires a certain amount of CPU, RAM, memory, and other resources, your physical systems will have less space. Multiple containers can be started at a time on the Docker engine. The isolation environment allows a user to run and deploy several containers simultaneously on a given host. Virtual machines can run only a limited number of virtual machines on a system. Since each virtual machine requires a certain amount of CPU, RAM, memory, and other resources, your physical systems will have less space. Now that I have told you the differences between Docker containers and virtual machines, let me show you a real-life case study of how BCC uses Docker. BCC News is a British news channel over 500 developers working across the globe. BCC News delivers broadcasts in almost 30 different languages and with over 80,000 daily news in English alone. The news channel ran more than 26,000 jobs with more than 10 continuous integrations with sequential scheduling. The company had issues with identifying a way to unify the coding process and monitor the continuous integration consistently. Also, the existing jobs took up to more time, that is, up to 60 minutes to schedule and perform its task. Docker allowed BCC News to eliminate job wait times and run jobs in parallel. It also gave the users the ability to work in a more flexible CI environment where entire code processes were unified and stored in a single place. However, Docker succeeded in spreading up the whole continuous integration process. With that, we have reached the end of this session. I hope you guys found this informative and helpful. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and stay updated for more tutorials and live sessions.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.